Good morning. How y'all doing today? I've seen a lot of comments. I'm making some coffee real quick. I've seen a lot of comments about trucks, and there's a lot of people that actually support Black River, which is awesome. I think they're a great company. Like, I've looked up the people involved. I think they make a good product. I think they bring a lot of hype to the fingerboarding world. But there's a key difference between a lot of what everybody's saying and what the truth is when it comes to the Black River trucks. So there's a big difference, and I'm an engineer, so I'm going to go ahead and swear by the fact that I'm pretty well versed in this type of stuff. There is zero chance that Black River hand makes their trucks. Do they maybe hand assemble their trucks? Sure. Is there a chance somebody's putting their hands out and letting them pour liquid steel into their hands so they can form this steel or mold this steel into trucks? Or are they taking a block of steel and shaving it down to the trucks? No, they're not doing that. These are die cast. They take a die. They fill it up with steel. They have somebody by hand polish down whatever burrs are left, assemble it, and send it on its way. That's exactly, to the T, the process that they probably do in China. Okay, there's no other way to make these. You form them, you buff them, you assemble them, you send them out. There's no handcrafted pieces in any truck that's ever been made, ever. Not Tech Deck, not Black River, not FSB, not Teak, not a single one of them is hand-making trucks, because handmade stuff doesn't come out identical every time. You're going to have issues. It's not going to be perfectly straight. It's just not going to be how people are going to do that. So we're going to sit down and talk about the price points and why I think that I would say P-Rep and Teak have the market basically cornered in the best trucks for quality, and I would sneak Tech Deck in there too if you can find one of their Pro Series on sale, because they have the most banging trucks I've ever used, but you got to buy a whole board, whole setup with it, and when you do that, it ups the price. But there's no excuse, because on Black Friday, the Pro Series Tech Decks are being sold for $29.99. I mean, their MSRP is $70? $70, I do believe. So, you know, at a very high sale price of almost like 60% off, there's no beating that, okay? Those trucks are high quality. They have features that no other trucks have, and that's a big thing with Black River to me. Is I don't know what features that Black River offers that the other truck companies don't offer. Like, do they have a lifetime guarantee? Do they have a money-back warranty? Do they, last for a lifetime? Because at $70, I could buy 6 or 7 sets of the other trucks, and they are going to last me probably 15 years of fingerboarding. So we'll go over there, we'll look at them, see what I'm talking about. Let me just get some caffeine in me. Oh, that's the stuff of the gods. All right, I got my caffeine, sitting down, ready to go. Tell y'all my thoughts and opinions on fingerboard trucks and why certain brands are actually better than others, not just because of craftsmanship, but because of price point. Because some of the best trucks on the market that people are really obsessed with, they almost have a cult following, is the Black River trucks, which they opened up a store, like an actual brick and mortar store. Super thrilled on that. I think that's awesome for fingerboarding. I wish there'd be more stores like that, and I do understand the cost of running a brick and mortar store and a brand like that, but those costs are generally passed on to the consumer, and I can't justify needing to go into person to buy something like this and spend $70 in order to get the product just because I can look at it first. I mean, I know what I'm getting with most of this. So we're going to talk about P-Rep brand and Teak, and why when I talked about how they're all getting them from China, why I say that. That's because I've ordered trucks from both P-Rep. Let's see, I think these are indeed the P-Rep trucks. Yep, right here, because they have the bottom bushings. And, oh wait, those aren't the same too. There it is. So these are the P-Reps, okay? And then let's put them side to side next to some Teak. These are the Teak 32 millimeters, but they also make the 34 that look identical. So when we look at these, okay, if you measure The angles on the foot of the truck, identical. The footprint on the bottom, even the holes sometimes are identical. These ones aren't. You can see they're made by different manufacturers, but generally they use the same CNC design. You can look at all the different parts of the truck, and really the main difference is going to be where the truck sits in the peg and how long the reverse kingpin is. So I'm seeing these ones have a reverse kingpin on them, right? And these ones have a normal nut and attached kingpin. I'm going to say that over both that I've tried, I went to the reverse kingpin because it seemed more, I don't know, it seemed better for some reason. Like it looked like it would sit slower and be better for grinding because that flat head should be better than the hex head. But in reality, you can see that what really matters in these trucks ultimately is how far down does a bolt or the nut sit. Because if it sits above the truck, you end up getting a terrible grind because every time you go across something flat, it's going to catch just like that on the bolt. So that's why these are, I think, are your good budget entry brand, but they're generally the exact same truck. I mean, like down to the measurements, the way they build them, they come out the exact same. And I'm trying to see if I have any other. Yeah, here's some reverse kingpin trucks from Teak, and I mean they're the identical setup. I mean they look to the T. Everything's the exact same. Short of maybe some of the imprints from where they fill the mold. So no trucks are handmade. I promise you that these trucks aren't handmade. That's why there's these spots on the bottom for where they inject the metal and it cools, and then they normally sand it down, or they put it somewhere indiscreet, like on the bottom of the truck where you won't notice it. And then they take them out, they sand them, deburr them. They probably by hand put the axle thread in on some, and some they don't. But ultimately, when you're talking about handmade products, you're actually probably getting an inferior product when you're talking about something that's handmade that you're going to be putting through lots and lots of repetitions of force. You really don't want handmade products because you don't really know that they're all made identical. So when you get one pair, maybe it's great. The next pair you get was assembled by somebody who didn't give a shit that day. So you're getting a terrible product. I would say that Black River's claims of making handmade products, sure, maybe they do, but I don't think they're handmade. I think the boards are handmade. I think the trucks are mass ordered from a company that does molding, and maybe Black River gets them in and finishes them by hand with the polishing and whatnot, but I highly doubt that. But I gotta say, here in my hand is my ultimate personal favorite trucks ever made, and that's the Tech Deck trucks. Why? Because first off, I talked about how low the bolt sits, right? Tech Deck's truck sits surprisingly low compared to the rest. I mean, there's no way that's catching on a grind because it's way down further than the axle. So that's number one, why they're my favorite. Number two, they have extra features. I don't know if people know how a bearing works, but a bearing works when there's two round pieces of metal, right? And in between those two circular pieces of metal are little ball bearings. And those little ball bearings are supposed to take up all the friction so that when you roll, the bearing, the inside of the bearing, the smaller circle, like it's a circle like this and there's another circle over top, right? And there's bearings in between, and one spins and one doesn't. So what's supposed to happen is the inner one's supposed to lock onto the axle, and then the outer one spins freely. But what happens with a lot of these cheaper trucks like P-Rep and Teak is that the axle is too small, so the whole bearing spins. So really what you're getting is a metal-on-metal effect. The bearing is almost negligible. But when you do something like what Tech Deck has done, sorry I had a brain fart, what Tech Deck has done is they have put a diamond pattern on the axle right there. You can see it, and what that does is it grips the wheel, so the wheel doesn't have a nut on it, right? But it's not coming off. Why? Because now the inside of the bearing is stuck still, and the outside is free to rotate using the less friction of the bearings than to have the whole thing rotating around the axle. basically causing the bearings to be useless. So that feature alone adds a whole lot of value to me because it just makes the wheels and everything skate so smooth. Like, I mean, it's like night and day comparison when you're talking about how easy it rolls. You can feel that the bearings are doing all the work and that the wheels aren't just spinning freely on the axle like metal on metal. So that type of stuff is what makes them worth a little more. And these boards, there it goes. And these boards are kind of expensive, but on Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, they were sold for, I saw this design for $34.99. I saw this design for $29.99. These I think were still like $40 or $50, but you know, there are options to get a full setup with a great set of grip tape. They made the grip tape thinner. A really nice board with, even if you don't like the chunkiness of the board, these are the most high quality prints I've seen on graphics printed on fingerboards. I mean, they are lacquered, they're super high quality, they're brand affiliated. You got the Finesse brand, you got Sonic the Hedgehog. This is fire, man. The trucks are literally worth the entire cost of the board at $29.99. I mean, some of those high-end trucks definitely are going to charge you that, and you're not getting bearing wheels with them, you're not getting the board, you're not getting the grip tape, you're just getting a set of bearings, trucks, and you're probably not even going to get extra bushings. So that's my personal opinion on the best trucks on the market for the bang of the buck is probably Tech Deck. The only problem is they don't sell them individually. You got to get a board, but ultimately I think it's worth it. Okay, and one of the last reasons I know these boards, none of this stuff is really, none of these companies are really making all their own products. So I found these exact bushings, these blue bushings. The first place I ever found them was in Teak's Trucks, and I was like, man, where can I find those? I searched, found them on eBay from a seller for like, I want to say like $1 for no way, they're like $3 for 5 or something like that. Wasn't a bad deal at all. But I started seeing them, once I bought them, I started seeing them on Amazon where I bought them. I found these style, the softer, like the middle of the road type bushings, the blue and the orange and the white ones. I found those on Trucks for Sale. And then last but not least, we got our bubble bushings down there. Found those on actual brands like P-Rep and Teak. And I come to buy them, and you know they're pennies on the dollar in comparison. So just be very aware that they're not giving you a bad product. A lot of these guys, even though they're made in China, even though they're mass-produced, they're not giving you a bad product. It's just not a great product. And it's not a product that somebody else isn't going to sell you identically. So I am fully convinced that a lot of these brands, P-Rep, FSB, Teak, I know for a fact Teak does not make any of their own products, that they all come from Alibaba. You can go on Alibaba, you can find them in bulk, you can get them cheaper than what they pay for them if you buy them in high units, like 50 of them, 100 of them. Nobody really wants 100 fingerboard trucks unless they're reselling them. So when you look at them on Alibaba, they're about the same price as what Teak sells them for, one pack at a time, and I'd rather order from an American brand. So same thing with the boards. These boards are mass-produced on Alibaba, and then what they do is they say, oh, we can put any sort of graphic on them for you, and they burn in this teak for them. They do a lot of other burn-in designs for other brands. You'll see it in different spots, but the base 5 layer maple with the colors, you know, just the dyed bottom veneer is not something that they are making in-house. They're just buying them off of Alibaba, having them custom printed, buying their trucks off of Alibaba, putting it all together, putting it in a nice package, and putting it on Amazon for shipping for you, because they're buying them in bulk, so it's got to be expensive to ship one truck at a time from China, but somebody's got to go buy them in bulk and break them down over here so we can get them for the same price, if not a little cheaper. So I don't hate on any of these companies. I think Black River's a great company. I think Teak's a great company. I think Racco FSB is a good company. I think all these companies, P-Rep, the only one I don't really love is Noah Wood. They're definitely just a big old copycat brand trying to get on the wave. But they're not bad people. They don't sell bad product. I just didn't really like their product when I used it. So they were actually pretty cool. When I didn't like it, I left a review about it because the wheels didn't spin. And they offered me free products to change my review. And I honestly didn't want to do that because I don't want to deceive people in order to get free stuff for me. I'd rather people just see my review and know if that's what you want, go for it. If not, there's probably a better brand out there. So that's my take on trucks. And I know it's a little long-winded, but there's so much going on with fingerboarding, these brands coming up that, people were asking in the comments for me to talk about the trucks more, and that's my real full opinion. The biggest thing that's going to make a difference for you when it comes to trucks, I mean, the shape matters a lot for sure, but all the shapes are kind of the exact same. They're all copying real trucks. So, on Instagram, I saw this big thing going on. Black River was really mad, or maybe Black River wasn't mad. Fans were mad at Tech Deck. Fans of Black River were mad at Tech Deck because they literally took two diagrams of the Black River trucks and these new Tech Deck trucks, put them side by side, and they are borderline identical. And everyone to say it was Tech Deck copying Black River, and they're not coming up with their own designs. But I just got to call people out on that because they didn't invent the truck. Trucks were invented for skateboards, real-size skateboards, and miniaturizing something does not mean you invented it. That is derivative work. You're copying directly from already made trucks on big boards. Nobody invented the angles, the pivot cups. Nobody invented any of this stuff for fingerboarding. It was invented for real skateboarding. And anybody miniaturizing it is not an inventor. They are a craftsman, they are a reseller, they are they're doing their thing, they're making their product, but they did not dream up a truck. Okay? This is free market, free game for everybody at this point. If somebody's truck comes out looking exactly like somebody else's truck, yeah, the inspiration might have been taken from Black River or from something else, but maybe Black River and Tech Deck took inspiration from the same Pro Series truck, like, I don't know, Independence or something that was just super popular back in the day for real skateboards, and now super popular shape for fingerboards. So don't worry too much about what trucks you get. I'd say go mostly for the budget, but if you're gonna worry, Tech Deck all the way. Their trucks have more features than anybody else. I mean, they got the cut bushing set in, and you can't beat it, man. When they go on sale, like, this is a quality Pro Series board. It comes with a ramp. It comes with the metal tool. Sorry, it comes with a box. It comes with a tool. It comes with a board. It comes with the trucks. It comes with everything included, $29.99. There's no justification in somebody spending $70 on one set of trucks. I don't care how long they last you. They're not gonna. There's a lot of other trucks out there that'll last just as long, if not longer. And my last take is, if you want to get budget trucks that last, I have learned the hard way that the reverse kingpins suck. They will strip out, especially Teak brand. Teak brand makes some really bad reverse kingpin trucks. They strip out within a month of me using them every time. I mean, when you wiggle them, let's see, I gotta find one. When you wiggle them, I don't know if you can see this in the camera, the bolt itself has a little bit of movement. I don't think you can really see it on the camera. This one's not as bad. They get worse over time. But I never had that problem with the reverse kingpin in these until I was about a year into using them. But as you can see even there, look, see the sway in the reverse kingpin? And this was one of the Gen 1 ones. These were not made as well. They don't have the grip on the edges. They were their first run. Weren't made as well, but now they've gotten it together. When you see this, there's no pivot in that. So how closely the tolerance between the screw threads and the base of the truck matters so much, because if they're not perfectly in tolerance as they wiggle back and forth, it just grinds the teeth of the screw against the side of the inside of the truck. Then after a while, there's no thread left on the screw. So you either have to order new screws, or actually generally it looks like the bottom of the truck is stripped and you're just done. So there's a few pairs that I've had to just throw out of Teaks because after a month of use, the bolt stripped out, they didn't have enough teeth to hold the thread, and I went back to ordering the nut versions of their trucks because These don't strip out. They are about not. These are their older ones, but they're newer ones. Let's see, where's the newer one? Yeah, these are their newer ones. The version 2.0. They're much lower. Okay, and that's the important part right there, is whether that's going to catch when you grind. That's like the most important part in the truck for me, short of whether the axles are even or not, because I've gotten some really crappy trucks a few years ago where the axles weren't the same length and they would stick out a little bit on one side. Didn't like that, but overall, these trucks, they come pretty good now. See, they're getting better with time. Like, these are the newest ones I bought. I haven't opened them yet, but their bolt is even lower in there from Teak. So I think that's my favorite part about the Teak brand and some of these like middle of the road brands, is they're constantly changing their product to keep up with the trends. I'm sure the higher end brands do, but they're gonna make you pay for it. Teak is pretty good. I think whoever runs the company, they are active in the community and they care enough to at least keep up with the trends. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the giveaway. I sent out 2 of the 3 people have gotten back to me. I sent out your packages, I think Friday. They should be arriving any day now. I hope you guys enjoy. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you have any more ideas for me to talk about, I'd be happy to take up some of your recommendations and see what I can help you with. But the winner, hands down, gonna be Tech Deck. They got the best bang for your buck. Really, really thoughtful design in these, down to the patterns on the axle in order to lock the wheels on. You got locking nuts, you got cup bushings, you got an inverted kingpin that's set at the right height. You got great movement. They don't touch the board. They're perfectly balanced. Like, solid board. So take care, guys. See you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all are why I do this, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope to see you back here next time.